Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Munir Al-Azouzi from easymedicaldevice.com, and today we'll talk about the January 2024 update. First of all, I wanted to wish you all a happy new year with all my best wishes, and thank you very much again for following me here at Easy Medical Device. It was really a great 2023 year, and I hope that 2024 will be also really good for everyone. I hope you had also a good start of the year. There was really a lot of information that were happening in December, so now today we'll try to get to it. But first, I wanted to introduce you our sponsor, which is MedBoard. So who is MedBoard?
MedBoard, the regulatory research and intelligence platform, is focused on solving the problem with increasing news and data and new requirements, as regulatory intelligence, post-market surveillance, clinical literature review, and many more. We are making trusted medtech information and data more accessible, creating the largest information portal search and the best tools for review, intelligence, and portfolio management. We are already changing people's lives like you by reducing tedious manual and repetitive work or saving much time. Contact us at medboard.com to learn more about us and do a free trial.
Okay, the first information of today is the EU reference laboratories for in vitro diagnostic products. So some laboratories were designated, so EURL were designated. So we have 4 fields with the laboratories. The first field is the markers for hepatitis or retrovirus infection. The second is markers for herpes virus infection. The third, markers for infection with bacterial agents, and markers for respiratory virus infection. So if you want to get more information about which are the labs, so there is an annex on the document that are showing all the laboratories that were selected for that. I suppose this will be updated to include maybe more, but these are the first one that were selected. There is also an article that was created by the EU Commission, where it's summarizing a bit more about those laboratories. So don't hesitate to look at that. If you are an IVD company and you are on those 4 fields, then you need maybe to go through those laboratories to get your results for the certification for your product. So don't hesitate to check that. Okay, so the European Commission sent a letter to the European Parliament mainly talking about cybersecurity. So the issue is mainly the fact that we have more and more software as medical devices, digital software that are existing also, and cybersecurity will grow as a big threat for some of those softwares. And we have seen that there are some legislation that are available, but they are not, like I said, talking to each other horizontally. So the idea here is to warn the Parliament and to ask maybe for more guidances, for more support in terms of the implementation of those legislation or those connections between all the different legislations. So this is something that is important. So remember that for medical devices, software or products that are containing a software, you still need to prove that there is no risk of cyber attacks or anything. So we have specific guidance, MDCG guidance also talking about that. So don't hesitate mainly to review what is written there, but it's just a letter for suggesting or for mainly pushing some proposals within the European Parliament. So don't hesitate to check that, but we'll see later what will be the outcome of this. Okay, in 2023, in December 2023, we had a lot of MDCG guidance that were issued. So we had one about MDCG 2023-7, which was a guidance on the exemptions from the requirements to perform a clinical investigation pursuant to Article 61. So mainly the idea here is what are some rules or some cases where you don't need to have clinical investigation for your products. For examples, if your products already went through the EU MDR, it was already on the market and it has enough clinical data, no need to redo again a clinical investigation. I mean, it is already written on the on the EU MDR, Article 61, but here it's more emphasis what are some of the different exemptions for you to not perform a clinical investigation. I mean, as long as you have enough clinical data for your products, maybe clinical investigation are not needed. We don't need to torture more people when we know already that the product is safe and performant. So this is mainly the idea of this document. But if you are still asking yourself, are you exempted from performing a clinical investigation, then MDCG 2023-7 is the guidance that you have to look at. Okay, now MDCG 2019-7 revision 1, which is was already published in 2019, as you can see on the name. It is about the PRRC, so person responsible for regulatory compliance. If you had still some question about PRRC, this guidance will try to clarify some elements. So as I said, it was already published in 2019, but there was some elements inside that were not clear, so now there are some clarification. Example about the localization of the PRRC inside Europe, outside Europe. Even outside Europe means can I be in China and be the PRRC of somebody located in the US, because we are all outside Europe. So it's also precising things. The diplomas for companies outside Europe. What is the key role of a PRRC? That the PRRC shall not suffer any disadvantage also. The role of the PRRC within the authorized representative, the PRRC registration in new damage. For example, if your PRRC registration in new damage and you are changing your PRRC, you have normally, per the rules, 1 week to update your damage with the new name of the new PRRC. So this is something that is not well known, so it's why it's important also that you write that maybe on your procedures. If you have a procedure about PRRC, writing the fact that if a PRRC change or there is an update on the PRRCs, this should be done within 1 week is also important, because this is what is written on the legislation. So yeah, if you need more information about PRRC, then this guidance was already existing before, now was updated with more clarification for it. The next guidance that was updated again to MDCG 2021-27 revision 1, so about Article 13 and 14 about importer and distributors. So it was updated to include more question and answers than before. Just a reminder, an importer is a company that is placing on the market a product that is coming from outside of the European Union. Distributor is a company that is inside of the European Union and is receiving products from inside the European Union and place it again inside, make it available inside the European Union. So the importer is like the door of entry from outside of the European Union to the inside of the European Union. Distributor is just an actor that is moving products inside the European Union. So a distributor can also be an importer. As I say, it depends mainly where the product is coming from. So this guidance is telling you mainly all that. So if you have to have more understanding about what is an importer, what is a distributor, do you need multiple importers or can you have only one? This guidance is answering the question. Okay, we have now two series of guidance. So the first one is MDCG 2023-5, which is a guidance on the qualification and classification of Annex 16 products. So Annex 16 products, these are products that have no medical intended purpose, but they are considered as medical devices. So you have also to classify those. I have read this document and I find only one class 1 device, all the other are class 2A, 2B or 3. The one class 1 device are connecting tubes or cannulas reusable. I suppose it's mainly for liposuction, for example. These are the only ones that you can see as a class 1. I suppose even class 1 R, because reusable, and maybe as it's used in surgery, so it's maybe a class 1 R also. But yeah, to be confirmed, because I don't know if class 1 R is applicable also for such products. But mainly these are the only ones, so it means that all the others need a notified body, only those ones don't need a notified body. This is really important to understand because we have mainly a lot of products that are now going through this Annex 16. Notified bodies are now getting ready for that. There are new rules of transition for Annex 16 products, so you have to understand what is the classification and then decide how you will be placing these devices on the market. Next one, again about Annex 16, MDCG 2023-6, which is the guidance on the demonstration of equivalence for Annex 16 products. So it's the same as for medical devices. When you have to prove that your device is performant and safe, you have to do some clinical evaluation. And for that, you can also use equivalent devices. But here, how can I use an equivalent device? Maybe, for example, for a product that is under Annex 16 without a medical purpose and making it equivalent to a medical device that has a medical purpose. So this is mainly the idea also. So here they are giving you the rules on how to consider mainly equivalency for your products, how to collect clinical data, and then how to avoid also to do some clinical investigation with them. So check this guidance if you want to know more about how to make your product equivalent. Okay, now we'll talk about companion diagnostics. So the EMA, European Medicine Agency, has issued a question and answer document that is talking mainly about companion diagnostics. So companion diagnostics, this is an in vitro diagnostic product under IVDR. So it's usually a product that is used to detect some markers within your organism and then use a certain medicine that is targeting those markers. For example, within a cancer in oncology, mainly you are trying to detect the markers coming from a certain tumor, and then you are using a specific medicine to target these markers because they are specifically for this type of tumor. And this is mainly really focalizing the target to really the cells that contain these markers. So companion diagnostic is an in vitro diagnostic product following IVDR. So you have then also to follow the rules about medical devices. The problem is that we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies that are not understanding medical device regulations or in vitro diagnostic medical device regulations. So then they have no understanding, mainly again, about the IVDR rules, how to qualify their medicinal products with the IVDR, what are the tests that they have to do, what are the applications they have to do they have to go through the EMA or through each agencies in the European Union. So there's a lot of questions. So I hope this guidance, EMA Q&A, question and answers documents will help you for that. Okay, now Switzerland. In Switzerland, we have some alignments. There is always like that. In Switzerland, there are always some guidances and alignments that are created, and this time is again for Annex 16. So mainly they are creating a document that is aligning the rules about Annex 16 products between Europe and also Switzerland. So they are talking mainly about what is an Annex 16 product, what are the rules about application, etc., etc. So this is just a guidance that is showing mainly the Annex 16 or medical device without any intended purpose, because there is no Annex 16 in Switzerland, and explain the rule for that. But as said, this is aligned with what the European Union is doing. You will see that Switzerland is trying really to align a lot of what they are doing with the European Union, mainly because actually they are in disagreement, because each one it goes in a certain way. But the objective is mainly, if at a certain point Switzerland comes back to the European Union for medical devices, then everything is already aligned, so there is no need to recreate or change things. Like the Swiss DAMED for EUDAMED, so it's also something that is there. So it's then an opportunity for maybe later to have Swiss back to the European Union, and then to avoid also some issues of misalignments of the different rules. Switzerland has also issued guidance for exemptions of certain medical devices in case they are not conforming to the rules in Switzerland. Mainly this is for products that have not followed a certain CE marking, for example, or a certain conformity assessment, but there is an emergency need inside the country. So if you are a manufacturer and you have this kind of products, then this guidance will tell you what you should do. You should still inform the Swiss Medic about that, the agency, but what are exactly the rules that you have to follow for that, which application, which products can be following this rule, etc. So this kind of guidance, it was created a lot of time by any country, mainly, for example, during the coronavirus situation. So this is mainly the same here, where they are trying also to align with the requirements that is that are mentioned by the European Union, because in the European Union, in the EU MDR and IVDR, there is also this rule of if there is any emergency, the country can decide to also accept some products even if they have not followed the EU MDR. So this is mainly here the same rule again. Okay, notified bodies now. So we have now the announcement of the 43rd notified body under EU MDR, which is Český metrologický institut in Czech Republic. So yeah, as said, notified bodies, we have 43 notified bodies. If you are located in Spain and you need a notified body, you don't need to choose specifically a Spanish one. You can go to the Český metrologický institut in Czech Republic. So as long as you are located in the European Union, I mean, you are trying to get a CE marking, you can choose any notified body located in any part of the European Union. You can maybe choose your notified body because of languages. If you are in France, maybe you choose the GMED because this is the only notified body located in France and speaking maybe French. But you can also choose certain notified body because of their availability, because we have some notified bodies that are really busy and maybe some others that still have some slots for you, or because of budget. So there are multiple reasons, but geographically you can choose whichever notified body you want. And in terms of notified bodies, so what is the situation? So 43 notified body under MDR, 12 notified body under IVDR. And if you look at this notified body situation, you'll see that we still have a lot of steps before to arrive to another notified body. I think it's a certain step where we have a lot of notified bodies that are in the CAPA review, a CAPA stage. So it means that before to arrive to the final stage, there are 4 or 5 steps to follow. So I think we'll stay with 43 and 12 notified body for a certain period of time before a new one will be announced. But yeah, we'll see that in the next month. Okay, training now. So last year we had a successful green belt training with a session that was issued around 10 times, I think. So we had then also a lot of students or participants of the green belt certification program that succeeded and got their diploma, if I can say, their certification. So this year we have already issued the 3 next sessions for the green belt certification program. The first one is in January, so it's edition 28th, so January 22nd until January 28th, and you can see on the show notes a link to then register to that. The second one is in February, the edition 29th, so February 19th until 23rd, and the 30th edition is in March 25th until 29th. So you can go on the show notes and you can mainly check all the information that are related to that. So register as quick as possible, because yeah, each time it's the same. Each time people are arriving late and say, oh, I didn't know that there was a class available. So now you know for the next 3 months, here is the agenda for the quarter number 1 2024. We have also some e-training, so means training, self-paced training, so on demand. So the first one is about vigilance reporting. So inside this e-training, I explain to you how to perform vigilance reporting in the European Union. What are the rules? What are the documents to fill? How to find the information? What mainly to follow as a timeline, because it depends when the issue happened. You have a certain timeline to report it to the authorities. So I explain that to you, and I show you also the documents that are needed for filling all those information within a video series of training, and with also the links of the different documents that are needed for that. So don't hesitate to check this course, and at the end you'll get also your certificate for the participation to this course. And the second one is about audit readiness. So within my customers, I have a lot of people that were having an audit for the first time. So because we are helping a lot of startups. So the objective was to train those people on how they can be ready for an audit. So I suppose that a lot of people don't really have experience about audit. So here in this training, in the audit readiness training, we are explaining to you how to be prepared for an audit, what to do during the audit, and how also to work after the audit. So mainly the idea is about preparation, execution, and correction maybe after the audit. So don't hesitate also to go to those courses. Okay, we will start now about the rest of the world. So first we start with Mexico. So Mexico has issued a guidance on how to register a medical device in Mexico. So this is really a document that is really interesting. It's in Spanish, so the idea is mainly that if you speak Spanish, great. Otherwise, you have to translate it. But it tells you mainly what are the rules for placing your device in Mexico. If you need someone to register your device in Mexico, don't hesitate also to contact us at Easy Medical Device. We have partners all over the world to register medical devices. So Mexico is one of them. So we have a few people that can help you for that. But not only Mexico, for other countries also. So don't hesitate to consult also with us if you have any requests like that. Then Brazil. So Brazil has it started a pilot for innovative medical devices. So I think it's the same as the US for the breakthrough procedure. So they created a pilot and they extended the application for this pilot. So if you are in Brazil, if you have some innovative medical devices, then you can apply for this pilot until January 19th, 2024. So don't hesitate to check that. It's important to go through those programs because it will help you to create some kind of breakthrough procedures, so procedures mainly for some innovative products. This is something that we are missing in Europe. So if you are innovative or not innovative, you go through the same way. What will be great is that for innovative medical devices, there will be also a fast track, also a track or pathway where you can get some support from the authorities. But here Anvisa is working on that, so it's great. Now Hong Kong, I think it's the first time we talk about Hong Kong, but they issued a lot of new guidances. So I wanted them to list them to you. I haven't read all of them, but it's the same nearly as what's happening in Europe. So the first one is about artificial intelligence medical devices. The second one about software medical devices and cybersecurity. The third one about guidances not for listing of class 2, 3, 4 general medical devices. The same about class B, C, D in vitro medical devices, and the classification of in vitro medical devices. So these are guidances that are really interesting, and the fact that they are pushing also a lot of them at the same time is also showing that they are really trying to get more and more in this race of regulation. So don't hesitate to check mainly what is written there. What I assume is the fact that there will be a lot of alignments with what the other countries are doing, which is great because then you don't need to change your way to go to a certain country. But it's important to check if you are planning to register your devices in Hong Kong, to check what are the rules and if your device is matching with what is written there. USA now, the FDA has changed something about the exports. So mainly before, for export documents, you had to have that on paper. Now they are transitioning to electronic export documents. There are still some rules that were defined. So there is a letter to the industry that was issued by the FDA. And inside, for example, they are saying even if you have electronic documents, it should be a colored stamp on it, etc. So there are a lot of things that are written inside, but now they are moving from paper to digital, which is great, and this will help, I hope, a lot of people. But there are still some rules that have to be followed, so don't hesitate to check this document about that if you are exporting your medical devices. India now, so digitalization again. So a lot of agencies are starting to work on digitalization. So India has created a national single window system portal, which is mainly a portal for the registration of your company as an actor within the Indian market, as an economic operator, as an importer, so mainly to share the fact that you ask for the authorization to be placing devices on the Indian market. Also for testing, mainly when you are trying to test your devices in the Indian market, I suppose clinical investigation, but also testing in laboratories. So then this can be used, this portal can be used. So there is a full guidance on the show notes, showing to you mainly what are the different steps, the different screenshots and everything. So don't hesitate to go there to check that if you need mainly to work in the Indian market. This platform will be helpful. I suppose it's really nearly trying to be aligned also with the EUDAMED requirements. So I suppose it's nearly the same here, but I cannot confirm that. I never used it, it's just announced, so, but maybe we'll know later that, yeah, it's really aligned with what EUDAMED in Europe is trying to do also. Australia now, so there is a guidance in Australia about boundary and combination products. So mainly which product is a medical device or a medicinal product or in vitro or biocide, etc. So this guidance is trying to help you understand which how to classify your products and what are the main rules about your products. As I said, this is something that we are also doing in Europe. We have this MDCG guidance about borderline products. We have also the borderline manual that is existing. So this problem in Europe is the same in any other countries. So here the idea was mainly to explain or train people on how to work on that. And mainly the therapeutic purpose is what is driving what is your product. If you have a syringe that is empty, it's a medical device. But if it is already pre-filled with a drug, then the therapeutic purpose is the drug purpose, not the syringe purpose. So then it's a drug product, it's not a medical device product. It contains a medical device, but it's mainly a drug. So this is an example, for example. But here you can see the rules that are defined by the TGA for Australia. In Australia, again, they are also issuing a rule about, a guidance about how to submit custom-made devices or patient-matched devices in Australia. So this is really something that is interesting because also in Europe, we have this debate about is 3D printing, for example, considered as custom-made? What is custom-made? And here, the rules are nearly the same about mass production, about the fact that there is a difference between custom-made for specific patient and patient-match, which is using a product that is already existing and just making it match to a patient. So there is really some rules that are defined here. So as I said, it's the same in Europe. We have MDCG guidance that are talking about that. Here, they are also having some guidances on how to submit and to validate, to register a custom-made device or a patient-matched device within the Australian country. Then Malaysia. So Malaysia has issued some guidance also. Harmonized borderline products for Asians. So it's the same as what we just saw on the Australia. They have listed a lot of medical devices and say, is it a medical device or a drug or for the Asian? So Asian, Southeast Asia countries. So mainly it's an association of the Southeast Asian countries. So mainly all the Southeast Asian countries are defining the rules of what is a medical device and not a medical device. So the borderline rules here. So this is kind of a standard that is explaining mainly, or harmonized rule that is explaining mainly what is a medical device in the different countries. But it was published in Malaysia. The second one is the list of the harmonized classification of medical devices in Asia also. So here, mainly the same is the classification of the different products in the Southeast Asia. So what are the rules that should be defined? So if you are trying to register your products in Southeast Asia, so don't hesitate also to check that. And the same, we can help you for Southeast Asia registration. We have a lot of partners in the region that can help you. So if you need the registration of your devices in Southeast Asia, contact Easy Medical Device at info@easymedicaldevice.com. Let's start now with the podcast nostalgia. So mainly last year, so in December, we had a few podcast episodes and one that started last week. So the first one is about usability. So usability is a big topic in medical devices. And here the idea is mainly to help you understand what is usability, what is a summative test, a formative test, all those things that the 62366 is talking about. So for that, we had the episode 262 with Michael Engler. So the idea is mainly to then share with you all the tips, tricks, and understanding of that. Michael's company is also doing usability studies. So if you need any support, you can go on the show notes and talk to him directly. Next episode, we had episode 263. We talked mainly about why you should invest in your regulatory department. Invest means in people, but also in tools that are helping. And for that, we had RIMSYS company that was mainly helping for that with James Janustos, the CEO of RIMSYS. So RIMSYS is a company that is providing some tools, regulatory affairs tools, for medical devices. And here James is mainly talking to us about why it's important to invest, what are the benefits of investing in your regulatory department. Next episode was more a Christmas episode, if I can say. So it was about the life of a QA/RA podcaster. So I was interviewed by another podcast host. So mainly it was about Claudia Danel and Jörg Brockemann. So mainly we had a funny episode where we talk about our life as podcaster. What was the benefit of being podcasting? What are the things that were good? Which episode was also great, etc. So also the idea here is to share with you the fact that it's great to start a podcast. So don't hesitate also to start yourself a podcast, because mainly you have maybe something to share. And more there is a diversity in podcast, better it is also, because I cannot satisfy everybody, so mainly it's great to have a lot of other podcasters that are maybe providing some great content also. But it's great to have discussed with Claudia and Jörg, because it was really a funny episode also. And lastly, we had episode 265. So I recorded when I was in at Medica in Düsseldorf in November, the presentation that has made Stefan Bolleininger. He made a presentation about heat map, so mainly the way to make some key indicators about your regulatory affairs department. Inside this we have the presentation, so you can listen to it on your car, also look at it because he was presenting that directly on screen. But I also have the presentation, the slides that were created by Stefan. He was generous to send that to me, so it's also on the show notes, so you can then go and find that. So it's great here because it tells you a methodology so that you can also show if your department is good or bad, or define some rules to maybe show the heat point or cold point mainly of your quality and regulatory affairs department. So don't hesitate to go on the show notes to check that. Okay, it was the end of this episode, so thank you very much for all your support, and I hope you had really a great start of the year. So wish you a great day and talk to you soon.